America Meditating Radio Show, we collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts 24/7. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Join me and guest on Blog Talk Radio as we amplify stories that compel us to be more for ourselves and everyone else around us. Do you like to meditate? Have you tried to meditate? Have you struggled with meditation? Why don't you visit one of the Brahma Kumaris Meditation Center? Visit brahmakumaris.org.
Blaylock Dialysis Center is a convenient state-of-the-art dialysis center in the Houston area, run by Dr. Panakin Patel. Relax in a comfortable environment while receiving quality care. Serving adults 18 to geriatrics, we are here to help you. Call 713-463-6611 for more information, or visit us at our website at www.blaylockdialysiscenter.com. Blaylock Dialysis Center, where helping you get well is our priority.
The Meditation Museum in Silver Spring, Maryland offers a variety of courses and activities to make your life go a whole lot smoother. Located at 9525 Georgia Avenue, you will be able to experience the beautiful silence that's in the space. There are courses in Raja Yoga meditation, positive thinking, stress-free living, and personal development classes. For more information, call us at 301-588-0144 or visit us online at meditationmuseum.org.
Get off the grid and step inside your heart. Sister Jenna guides you through a powerful, encouraging, and motivating meditation that allows you to let go and become aware of you, regain strength, power, and peace.
I'm Roger Nelson. I'm the founder and director of the Global Consciousness Project, and you are listening to America Meditating Radio Show.
Hi, this is Valerie Alexander, author of Happiness as a Second Language, and listening to America Meditating Radio Show makes me truly, truly happy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to America Meditating Radio. That's our beautiful friend, Kristen Hoffman, who's going to be performing at the Opera House in Sydney this week. And so we're sending her lots of good wishes, and that track was called Between the Veils. I want to thank everyone who has been really sending me and our family lots of well wishes and good wishes. As you all know, that my father was in a coma this week, and we're going to be pulling the life support this week, which has been a very interesting experience, I have to tell you. I was sharing with all of you my journey because, you know, as much as we have our own spirituality and we have answers to many questions, and maybe we might end up realizing that we didn't have the answers, for all I know. But it's been extremely healing and sustaining in having the community of friends, of sharing with them our journey, and also knowing that I don't even know what it's going to feel like when I'm there and, you know, you give the okay, and then the soul takes its last breath before it leaves its body to go, and I believe enter another one to play another part and fulfill another destiny or purpose of living. And you can't say, and I was watching myself during the process going like, oh yeah, I know, soul is going. We all have our time period here. Things are always, you can give yourself all the answers and all the dialogue that you want. But you really don't know. You don't know what's going to happen in your consciousness when you're actually in that mode. And the only thing that I can say is that I'm just wishing that his being is just always in a very calm and peaceful place, and that even as destiny places me there in front of the soul and in front of the body, that I will be the child and the instrument. Because I do feel that I am an instrument for the divine, but I'm also going to be his child. And so it'll be just an interesting mix for me to encounter that. So with all of our love and regard, thank you to everyone for your blessings, your good wishes, your love, and those few seconds that you took out of the day to respond to our personal life story and maybe even grow from that in your own way. Well, you're listening to America Meditating Radio, and I just also got back from London where I was with our wonderful Daddy Janky, who is 100 plus, and the amazing scene was watching her dancing to ABBA, Dancing Queen at 100 plus, and we were asking Daddy, what is it that makes you just keep continuing? And she says, I live a life of truth. And I don't know what it was in those simple words that touched me so deeply. And she said, I live a life of truth. And that's the key. Because I live a life of truth, I can dance. Stay tuned. We're going to have the amazing Dr. Carl-Johan-Calleman with us. And Carl has always been involved with higher thinking, evolutionary thinking, but about statistics and ideas about mystical things that we have read, but also the fact that we have a chance to see how it correlates with our current time. And before I get Carl on the air, I'd like us to go into what we do best and just do a little meditation together here on the America Meditating Radio, and pause and send our good wishes to everyone on the planet and to our own lives, and to continue to amplify our own inner being by mobilizing more positive thoughts, more positive awareness, and more elevated thinking, because I think the more we incorporate elevated way of thinking, we begin to feel a great sense of freedom and a great sense of power in the human spirit. So let's take a deep, deep breath, and let's take a moment to just relax and allow the soul to just feel calm. From my Off to Work meditation CD, here is Calm. Om Shanti. Today, I am calm, and I will stay calm and cool. I will remain inside of myself, peaceful, calm, and cool. And as I walk and move around at work, I share the vibrations of coolness and peace from inside me. Welcome back. That was Calm from Off to Work Meditation CD, which you can acquire in iTunes. Today we're joined by Dr. Carl-Johan-Calleman, a repeated guest on the America Meditating Radio. And Dr. Calleman started his career in the heart sciences and has a PhD in physical biology from the University of Stockholm. He has written highly quoted papers in the fields of environmental science, toxicology, and cancer research, and has given lectures at MIT, Cornell, the Chinese Academy of Preventive Medicine, and the World Health Organization. But in 1994, Dr. Calleman devoted himself full-time to understanding the Mayan calendar and has been working on this ever since. He has published 4 books based on this calendar and has helped the Mayan elders spread their message in the world. He has become known as the main proponent of the idea that the Mayan calendar is about the evolution of consciousness rather than an astronomical phenomena. His most recent book is entitled The Global Mind and the Rise of Civilization, and his soon-to-be-released book is entitled The 9 Waves of Creation, Quantum Physics, Holographic Evolution, and the Destiny of Humanity. Sounds like a big read, right? Today we're very happy to welcome Dr. Calleman to the America Meditating Radio. Thank you so much for joining us again, my sweet brother.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you. You know, I should begin by saying that I met Dadi Jenke in London 10 years ago, and when she was in her early 90s then, and so before this phone call, which I know is from Brahma Kumara, I thought about her, and I wasn't aware. I was thinking, is she alive or not alive? But I'm amazed and happy to hear that she's still alive. Yeah.
What a small world, huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's still alive and dancing to ABBA and Dancing Queen, and she's just unstoppable.
That connects it to my heritage as a Swedish person, of course, yes.
Oh, wonderful. I want to get right into our conversation because your intellect is so brilliant. And in a recent blog entitled Trump and Brexit, Why the World Seems to Be Going Crazy, you talk about the chaotic state of our legal and political systems, and you even argue that all of these developments are connected and can be understood within a common kind of framework. So what is that framework that can help us to understand maybe the state of the world today and maybe the state of ourselves today?
Well, that framework is the Mayan calendar that has, through the ages or through maybe 2,000 years, they have passed down to us a system of waves of creation that are shaping our reality. And to most people, this is not known. And the very nature of the waves is that there are times when some of them go up and some of them go down. And thus, there is times change. And we know throughout history there is a rise and fall of civilization. And it's a framework that basically includes 9 different waves. And they are bringing different states of consciousness to us as possibilities. We have to, I believe, have some kind of intention and even develop the kind of tool to resonate with certain of these waves and so forth. But these waves, they provide a kind of a background of the possibilities or the potentialities that exist for us human beings at any given time. And this article that you're quoting from, it sort of describes one of these waves and how we've come to a turning point in this particular wave. It's actually the wave that has created different civilizations, and for about 400 years, the world has been basically dominated by Western empires. And this time, I believe, is now coming to an end, and it's sort of really what you would expect based on an analysis of the Mayan calendar system. And it places us in a task to develop our resonance with higher waves of evolution.
Can we talk about a higher wave of evolution? Because when we look at the media today, just this presidential campaign that the media is just going so gung-ho about because they're getting ratings and they're getting advertisement. So it's as if corporate interest and individuals behind the media don't care about the consciousness that they are contributing to our planet and to the minds of our younger generation. So some people point out that turbulent or violent times are not new in the history of mankind. So how is the world stage different from what we have experienced in the past?
Well, I think the world stage it's not as stable. It was destabilized by a shift in these waves that happened 5 years ago. And it means that, you and I, we have grown up in a world basically of nation states under Western leadership. And this structure of the world is shaking, so to speak, because all of these things that we feel connected to, like the nation that we may belong to and live in, that's actually ultimately a mental structure that keeps us involved in these kind of structure. I mean, the nation, for instance. And that there is a change in the mind going on based on these waves. And that is loosening up our connection to these nations. And that has happened, it's very dramatic in some places in the Middle East where nation states have virtually disappeared. But it's the same thing is happening also in countries like the UK and the United States. And these elections are expressions of this. There is not the same kind of respect for the institutions that there used to be. And you might say that is good or is bad, but it's something that is happening. And that can give us, on the one hand, it may give us a possibility to transcend the previous frameworks to a more unified and peaceful world. But it can also go in the other direction, which is more like disintegration. And we see both of these possibilities going on. And I would say there's no going back to the old sort of this world of this family of nations under Western leadership. I don't think there is any going back to that. It's more how do we handle this kind of a loosening up of the mental structures that we have identified with. And then I'm thinking primarily about the nations.
I have to tell you that as I'm listening to you, I'm getting this thought about, and it's something that I've been percolating, Carl, that we're witnessing where, it might not come out clear, but you can help me along the way, where we've reached the stage that we've had this sort of a pyramid mentality or this hierarchical structure where we impose all of the responsibility on the focal point of a leader, and then we stop actually doing the work on ourselves. So now that the scaffolding of everything, everything is crumbling, all the delusional thinking and hiding behind the veils of other people's efforts or other people's delusions, like everything is falling for each of us to rise up back into our own power so that we can have this very leveraging or very unilateral way of all or abundance or goodness for everyone. And I'm just wondering if you could speak to that. Do you think that's what's happening? It's happening in South Africa. It's happening in London. It's happening in America. It's happening in the Philippines. All these power images that we've constrained in our consciousness is falling to saying, am I powerful enough? And it actually brought me to creating this initiative, Carl, called Meditate the Vote, where I actually ask 4 core questions for people to find their own inner power and stop, in a way, imposing other people to be powerful for them. And if they can't keep the mantle or hold it up, then they start to argue and cuss and tell them they're no good, when really they're also a part of the problem.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. I mean, absolutely, and I think absolutely that's the way we need to go, and in these respects. But I want to add another thing about this, which is that I believe that we, in meditation or otherwise, I think is very important also to visualize a golden age, because my analysis of the Mayan calendar definitely tells me that that is where the planet is meant to go, actually the whole universe, but the planet is meant to go in that direction. And that doesn't mean that it will just happen because immediately or so forth. But I think we often, if we leave that intention out, we will very easily succumb to all kinds of forces around us, giving our power away and so forth. And that, I don't think anybody can stand up and say, I can tell you what the golden age is like. That's something that every one of us needs to visualize and get in contact with. And I think that's part of sort of making the picture of our participation in the world bigger, and also sort of giving us something to direct ourselves to whatever we are doing, considering elections or anything else. That should ultimately not just be a reaction to what we perceive as the bad things maybe happening in the world, but also, first and foremost, a reflection of our vision of our going towards a golden age and working to that and making that a reality. Otherwise, I don't think it will happen. I think these waves that I talked about, they give us possibilities, but they don't determine what we do. It's a new set of possibilities that exist in the world since 5 years back, when there was a big shift in these waves. But it's up to us still. It's a new possibility. It's a new interference patterns of these underlying waves of creation. But we have to be part of it. We have to create the intentions that makes them real.
I like that, because I'm sure that in the Brahma Kumaris we believe very strongly that after the Iron Age comes the Golden Age. But how do we get there? To what extent am I making my consciousness golden aged? And so what that means to me is that, am I able to look at hate, from an angle of transformed hate into the original love? Can I deal with a spouse who's completely opposite to me and who's nagging and annoying and who has betrayed or lied to me and still give love and respect? Can I deal with a colleague at work who is backstabbing and competitive and still even want to support and help them grow and still feel comfortable in my own skin? So when I even think about what a golden aged world would look like, I think about a person who's got a really clean heart as a human being, because I just don't see how a golden age is going to come if the consciousness within man hasn't shifted into that state. Would you agree?
Yes, certainly. And I think really it's not just about sort of abstractly visualizing a golden age. It is about visualizing who you would be and what kind of consciousness you would be part of in the golden age.
I like that. I love that very much. Tell us about your upcoming new book. You must be a little bit excited, even though your nature is always so calm. The 9 waves of creation. In your writing, you talk about the 9th wave, which creates the possibility for unity with the divine, path toward the divine or golden age. Could you tell us a little bit more about the book, or what's it been like writing it?
Yes, I'm very excited about it, and I think it's a very powerful book. It's a book really that outlines the whole evolution of the universe from its very beginning, what usually called the Big Bang, up until the present time. And it really demonstrates how this is all a divine plan, ultimately, that this goes back to. And it takes up a number of different aspects of this plan and how these different waves have created different kind of human beings and different kinds of human relationships have been fostered by these different waves. And it then ends up in the book at our very present time and the particularities of this particular time, how that actually goes back to an original imprint that is like 16 billion years ago, that goes back from the birth of the universe. And there are so many aspects of this book, how it has, that certain frames of mind carried by these waves may have created relationships of dominance and hierarchies and power distribution, so to speak, and how other frames of the mind carried by other waves have created different kind of human beings. We are not so much in control as I think most people would like to think. When you see things in this perspective, see that everything is part of waves, you will see that there is an underlying divine plan that we are all part of. But it's our own intentions that are place we will have in the big scheme of things in this plan. But, one thing that has really fascinating me is that I've studied the Big Bang Theory, which is that there are very much new data coming up from the past 10 years, that this view, what is coming forth, is quite different from the popular idea is that it was just a big explosion, and then from that the world has come to be what it looks like today. And that's not longer true. In fact, what it looks like, and that's what I'm presenting in this book, is that from the very beginning, how this universe was started was by the emergence of what the ancients would talk about as the tree of life. And it's somehow there was structure imprinted on the universe from its very inception. And from there, everything has been moving on, and this tree of life has broadcast across the universe waves, very similar to radio waves, and these waves have been picked up by all living aspects of the universe, and provided the mind is something that actually comes broadcast through wave to ourselves. It's very different from the view that has become standardized in the minds of people of how our universe was formed. And yet it is really something that goes back to the past 10 years, has provided in this regard, regarding the birth of the universe, completely new data, completely new concept of how the universe was formed. It's not getting out very much because, when you ask the average physicist, he really doesn't have the interest in connecting the new findings with a divine process of creation. That's really not part of what he wants to emphasize. But it so perfectly aligns with this whole thing. And it leads up to the current time, and which is sort of a time when for the first time, really, the whole range of possibilities exist for us human beings, and the questions of what are we to do with that, and what are we to focus on, and how this will continue to shape our world. And it is, as you also talked about, it is a time where we no longer just have to succumb to the hierarchical structures or giving the power away. But we have to know that, and we have to create the tools for it, and this book provides sort of a very encompassing framework for where we are in the history of humanity at this point.
Beautiful. Well said, well said. So, Carl, what's your best vision for yourself that would make the world a better place as we come to a close of this very enlightening conversation? Because, of course, you and I, I'm sure, believe that the world won't change until we change. So leave our listeners with your best vision for yourself and how that would impact the world, and a website or information on any upcoming conversation or events that you might have that our listeners can go to get a hold of you.
Well, my website, that's an easy thing. Website address is calleman.com, which is CALLEMAN, and where events are posted. Right now there really isn't, because I've been so active writing and so forth, and it hasn't been time very much of external work. The vision for myself is, I think it's about transcending fears of stepping out and connecting more deeply. Sometimes do I connect totally with what I think is really me underneath everything. These things are part of the big process, so to speak, and I'm working on these. I also have the visions for myself in this regard, and how to be the best participants in the big divine plan.
Beautiful. Calleman, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you if you're passing through Washington this year or next year.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I will.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Take good care. You're welcome. All the very best.
All the best.
So do you believe in the golden age, as Dr. Calleman was sharing? Because if we're going to rise up above the current narrative that we're living in, I think it makes sense to raise your vision, definitely the future, but also just the present. In what way do you wish to carve out an area in your consciousness that is ready and is preparing for a golden age of existence? Because it is a cycle. We're in a cycle. History repeats itself, and as we find ourselves going over the same sort of stories, then the question is, are we actually enduring what we're witnessing, which is the breakdown of old systems, because the opening of a new, a divine, a golden age of system is awaiting? Contact Dr. Carl-Johan-Calleman if you've got any more questions about this very rich conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on the America Meditating Radio. You know how valuable your time and your energy is to us, and we keep the show real, content-rich, and full, and we hope that that is definitely up your alley, as we have seen by your consistent dedication. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission, and we are here to love each other the same. So let us continue to do that a little bit more, shall we? And so I'm going to end today's show with Sarah McLachlan, Instruments of Peace. Take care, everyone.
Lord,